Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Joshua Carmona, and Joe Pate will not be with us this week. Joe is feeling a little bit under the weather, but he says hi to everybody and hopes that everybody tunes in and stays on for this power-packed hour of solid information that we've got for you this week. We've got a guest this week, and his name is Troy Hitt from Improve My Credit USA. Troy has got a credit repair business which handles a very large customer base, over 1,000 per month, and we've invited him over to talk about some of the things that help us not only grow our business but grow our profitability as well, and that's what we've been trying to do the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about a lot of things, Troy. This last couple of weeks we've been talking about the dispute process. We delved in depth into the score process to teach everybody, just open up our internal training and teach everyone exactly the way we've envisioned the dispute process. There's a lot of banter and conversation and content on the web of how to dispute. You know, there's a lot of old information, template-driven processes, dispute-driven processes, and online-driven processes. But we basically opened up our books and showed everyone how to do it because we've gotten consistent results. So it was a three-part. You guys can go on our website and if you missed it, you can go to the members only section and look at all of the pre-recorded sessions. If you don't have it, remember to just email me at joshua.carmona@scoreinc.com, and I'll be happy to go ahead and send you a temporary username and password. Having said that, you know, we're going to take we've been talking about back-end processes. We talked about getting paid and how to get paid. We discussed payment mechanisms like payment processing mechanisms like Trans2Pay, and then once again we discussed the dispute process for many weeks as well. So now we're going to take a 180-degree turn and we're going to move to the front end process. So what do we do and how do we take on these customers? Well, I quite frankly feel that what's going to profile our success is the process, is the intake process, and how we treat that customer and profile that customer coming in to our services out there. And you know, this is about the best way to really pick and choose the right customer. If we have the ability to say, what is the perfect customer, and how would I choose that customer? How can I do that? And there's no better company to discuss this than Improve My Credit USA. Just to give you some background before I leave you guys with Troy here, you know, Troy's company, his partner Randall Chestnut, they turn down, ladies and gentlemen, over 200 customers per month. That's a lot of customers, and they do it unashamedly. Why? Because they're not a right fit for their programs. And that is what really profiles their streamlined process. They're one of our customers, and they're one of our customers that we work with very seamlessly because it's process-driven from the day that the customer calls in until the day that he pays his last payment and receives his last evaluation. So without any more ado, let me present to you Troy Hitt. Troy, go ahead and say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Josh. Always a pleasure. I just want to say, first of all, it's definitely a pleasure to hear that you've opened up your books. We like to think we're an open book, too. So for you to let people get into the intricate details of your dispute process, that just speaks volumes for you. And, you know, also it's very impressive. So, you know, we like to think we're an open book, and I think that's why we have such a good partnership, is because you guys are the same way. You're like, hey, this is how we do it, just so you know. And
absolutely,
you know, I can appreciate it. It's refreshing. Trust me.
Well, great.
Well, Josh,
go ahead.
Yeah, you know, as Josh alluded to, it's very important to identify your customers out there. But, you know, I think taking a step back, Joshua, you know, a lot of CROs are just getting into the business, been into it for a long time, but they made the decision as to what type of credit repair company they're going to be. And that's the decision that needs to first be made. So then you can then at that time identify what your consumer is. So what is this about turning down customers? I mean, first of all, when you throw out a number like 200 customers, I'm sure people are raising their hands right now, say, send them to me, send them to me. You know, they're like 200. Come on, you're kidding me, right? And no, that's the honest truth. You know, yeah, they're like 200. I would kill to have those 200. Trust me, I can take my word for it. You don't want them. You don't want them, and we're going to get into as to why you don't want them and how they're not going to be profitable for you down the road. And there's things that you can't measure just by dollar signs. So let me explain a little bit to you why we turn down so many customers. And the number one reason is the intake process. Once you have decided what type of CRO you're going to be, I mean, there are different models out there. There are different services you can offer your customers. But at the end of the day, you have to be good at one of them. And you have to be good at one way of doing it before you can really venture off into other things. So, I mean, you have to decide, are you going to be that CRO that goes and contacts collection companies and creditors and negotiates down payments and really gets involved and roll up the sleeves? Or are you going to be one of them that really, a CRO that really focuses on the experience and leave the deliverable to the pros? Because
and what is
the
that
deliverable
experience?
that we have, that experience is not, that experience is not the result. That experience is not the result. There is a core competency that you have to identify what you're going to be. And everyone here on the call right now, your core competency better not be a dispute letter. It better not be. Because if that's all you have to sell your customers, they're not going to stay with you for very long. Because you've really just dumbed down your process and you made yourself very undervalued. Okay?
Yeah, Troy. Troy, I've got a comment around that. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Sure.
You know, I think, and I want to add. I just want to add to that. You know, the biggest companies in our space, we all know who they are. I don't want to mention them out there, but we all know who they are. They're on the web somewhere, right? We all know who I'm talking about. They've got about the worst results. So their deliverable, and our deliverable, is a letter from a processing perspective. But they've got, you know, what is it, something like $47 million worth of revenue going through their pipeline every month, and it's all on credit repair and upselling other services. So it's all about their experience. Am I right or wrong?
It is all about their experience, no doubt about it. They have an experience.
It's very important.
And when I said, when I say the experience, when we would talk about deliverables, I said leave certain deliverables to the pros. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to do a dispute letter. That's why I have Score. And they're awesome at it, and they produce a great result. And so when I said be good at one certain thing, if the result is good, well, now you can just build your whole experience because you know unequivocally that we're going to get the result. So if I already know I'm going to get the result, why am I selling the result? Because you can't sell the result. You just can't sell the result. You have to sell the experience, and it starts with the intake process. It starts with, and everyone needs to write this down, it starts with saying no to the good. You must say no to the good. You can get anybody to pay you money to improve their credit. That's not an art. I can walk out on this sidewalk, they don't know me from Adam, and they hear that I'm in the credit repair business, and, oh, I need some help in my credit repair. Sure, it'll be $200. Great, I got it right now. Well, you have no idea what their intentions are. You have no idea what their expectations are, and you don't even know if they even know what credit repair is. You're letting them control the story. So the intake process is important that you control the story. Okay? Very important that you control the story. And the story starts with, who are my customers? You tell that story. You tell that story through your advertising. You tell that story through your brand, your logo. You tell that story. Reasoning why? Nobody window shops credit repair. If they're calling you or they're coming to you, they need it. They're not trying to come on and try different sizes, different pants, different dresses, anything like that. They know they need it. So at this point, all we're doing is we're an enrollment center. And you have to control the story. They're coming to you. They know they need credit repair, but they may not have any idea what it is. So during that intake process, we can call it a pre-qualifying process, if you will, but it's really more just kind of filling them out as if we can actually help. I mean, at the end of the day, when you replace pre-qualifying with determining if we can help, it's a much better end result. My sales guys at the front end, when they get those, yep.
Yeah, Troy, how do we, let's take a step back there real quick. That's real
Sure.
good. It's really interesting that you say that. But I get this question all the time from, I speak to CROs all day, and they ask me on my intake process, how do I profile my customer? What type of, how can I build that into my process? What type of pre-qualifying questions or situations can I use? What do I do? Like I had a person one time tell me, well, I have my customers bring their pay stubs. Well, that serves two purposes. I can have a proof of residence as well as I get to know when they get paid and how much, you know, and I can correlate that to how much they have outstanding. Because sometimes customers are reluctant to give us that information, or they kind of stretch the truth. So what are those specific processes or qualification parameters that you have that we can share with everyone out there on the call?
Certainly, certainly. The first step that we do in our intake process is determine what their ultimate goal is. Mr. or Mrs. Customer, what has changed in your credit or financial situation that makes you want to improve your credit now? That specific statement, of course, Josh will tell you everything we do is scripted, so I just didn't make that up. It is actually in our intake script. That right there tells you, as the person doing the intake process, well, first of all, we know before they came to us that they had the opportunity to hire another company or do it themselves all of this time. So we want to know what is it that's changed in their situation that, well, now all of a sudden they want to come to me. And oftentimes the common thing you'll get is, hey, I lost my job a couple years ago, or hey, we're really wanting to buy a house in 6 to 8 months. These are your common things, and they're either trying to make a major purchase or they're just trying to get their credit purchasing power back. Those are the common things you look for. So we're like, okay, that sounds decent enough. Let's go to the next step in the process. And you restate their ultimate goal, and their ultimate goal is either get the credit purchasing power back in 6 to 8 months, get a home in 6 to 8 months. You're reaffirming that, okay, this is why you came to see us. Again, you are controlling the story. They're telling you what they want, and up to this point, it doesn't sound unreasonable that you may be able to help them out. Now, if they came in there and they said, yeah, I just want you to get all my stuff removed. Well, now all of a sudden, we're like, well, we don't do that. Now here's where we come and say no to the good. I want you to get all my stuff removed. Well, you know what? No credit repair company has the power to do that. In fact, we don't remove anything. That's actually out of our control. So now what we do is we go into the education part. Whatever they say, if it's yes, no, may. So right now that one guy said, I want to remove everything. He's got strike one against him. But you know what? I'm not going to kick him out of office just yet, because everyone who even calls us, they're going to walk away with something. They may not walk away with a contract for our services, but they're going to walk away with something. The one thing we make sure they always walk away with is not a no. They just walk away with a not yet. So I'm not kicking people out. I'm not telling you can't do business with me. I'm just telling you it's not a no, it's just a not yet. And here's why. Here's some other options that are available to you. So let's keep going. Before I get into those other options, let's keep going into the intake process. So now that we've kind of determined what their ultimate goal is, we're going to educate them. Now we begin to educate them on what a credit repair company is, what we can or can't do, and what their rights are. And it's very simply summed up in a couple paragraphs, but I'll paraphrase a few of them. The initial one is very important for me to always let our potential customers know is you know you have the right to do this for little or no cost. I'll let them know that. Everything we do here you can actually do yourself. Now, many people don't have the time and they get frustrated, and they've tried it before, and we understand that. We offer professional service to help you through that process. And my job here today is to help you determine if a professional service is something you really need. Again, I'm controlling the story. Now I'm telling them now I've already teed myself up to determine what they need. They don't really know what they need. They just know what they want. And keep in mind, I have yet to even look at this person's credit report. It's very important that y'all realize that, because that doesn't come until later.
You know.
Okay.
You know, I was speaking to Troy to our audience on one of our webinars a couple of weeks back, and it was about getting paid. But I made this comment. I made this comment a couple of times. I have never ever seen a person that worries about their credit as much as a person that is denied for on anything they're trying to get, a car, a home, or a loan. So people really don't, you can't sell credit repair. What you should do is sell the lack of, or the lack of not having good credit, and that they feel, that they can understand. But quite frankly, people don't know what FICO is from FACO. They don't understand the scoring models. They don't understand how everything works, and we're the experts. And sometimes we talk too technical to them, and we kind of sell ourselves down. So I get it. This is a good process about educating the customer and really building him around the process and telling, and what you're doing is you're removing any objections that they may have, because they probably know that they can do this by themselves, but they need help, and that's why they're there.
Yeah, absolutely. The approach is actually called disarming them. And you're right, we're taking away their excuses. We're educating them, and by educating them, we're actually disarming them. We're disarming them with the perception that they had before they walked in the door, before they made that call. Okay? You're disarming them. And in fact, it's not to put them on the defensive. It's really to open them up to listen, because you're preparing them, because you're not going to waste all your technical expertise on the front end on someone who can't afford it, not really, doesn't have the right expectations. You want to ease into it. You have to ease into it. So you just give them little softies, little mild stuff that they may or may not know, or they may or may not heard of. And it's really just the basics to you and I. It's the kindergarten, preschool stuff that we all know in our space that we give them, but it positions ourselves as an expert. But more importantly, we position ourselves as someone who's now there to help. Within the first minute, they've determined, they can realize that we're here to help them, because they already told us what they wanted. And now I say, okay, well, just give me a moment, and then we'll talk about it a little bit and see if I can help you get there. So now they immediately look at me as someone who's trying to help them. I'm not trying to sell them anything. In fact, in our script, we let them know, hey, relax, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a certified credit consultant, and I'm going to review your situation to see what your best options are to achieve your ultimate goal. And you're disarming them the whole time. And I haven't asked for money. I haven't talked about price. But that's coming. That's coming. So we educate them. So now they have a little bit of knowledge. They feel a little bit better about talking to you, because now they feel like, yeah, hey, you know what? Maybe this is the right thing for me. Meanwhile, you're just looking for disqualifying factors, and up to this point, other than the guy who said, I want you to come in and remove everything, up to that point, they're probably looking at this whole process a little bit different. And keep in mind, everybody, I am kind of paraphrasing. I can't go through the whole thing line by line, and we can get more detail later on. We can, but the intake process is very subtle. And when you start driving home specific questions, that's when we start getting into the buying process. So now that I've determined their goal, I've educated them a little bit. I let them know that, hey, we're just here to help you. You could do this yourself. Why is it that you haven't done it yourself up to this point? They'll give you some objections. Great, no problem. Then you go into, well, what we call this is our initial consultation. You know, everybody out there provides a free consultation. I mean, that's the way we get leads in typically. So you really have to break your intake process into two parts. There is the initial consultation. Well, there's the pre-qualifying or determining if you can help them. Okay. Then there's the initial consultation, and then there's the credit evaluation. The credit evaluation, we'll get into that in a minute. That's where we actually get into the report. So now I did a little bit of pre-qualifying. Now I'm going to do initial consultation. The initial consultation is now we're going to ask some specific questions. Ask specific questions that determine if this person is going to be a viable customer. And the first question is, have you recently been late on anything? I mean, that's a valuable question. That's kind of number one. Are you currently late or past due on any of your accounts that are reporting on your credit report?
What if
So
I
I'm
say
on time
yes?
with If you say yes, I'll say okay. Yeah, if you say yes, again, not a deal breaker. Say okay. We'll take a look into that a little bit later. What type of account? So we have a follow-up question. If they say yes or no, it really doesn't matter. I said, well, what type of accounts do you have established on your credit report? Do you have any revolving? Because first of all, they don't know the difference. So now we're going to get into a little bit of education. We're going to say, do you have revolving credit cards or installment loans? And they're like, no. Well, the funny part is, even if they say yes to the first part and they say no to the second part, then you're wondering what the heck are they late on? Well, oftentimes they're late on their cell phone bill. They're late on their rent. They're late on their water bill. They're late on bills that they don't realize don't report on the credit. Okay. So then, if you don't have any of those revolving accounts or installment accounts that we mentioned, then what is it you're late on? And then you follow up with that question. But if they do say, yeah, I've got some credit cards that I'm late on, and I was like, well, do you know how late you are on them? And sometimes they may or may not know. I say, okay, well, we'll have an opportunity to look into more detail. Because you don't want to get too technical in the initial intake process. You don't want to get too technical because now you're going to turn into a bartender. And everybody knows what happens when you sit at the bar. Sometimes if anyone's ever experienced it, you've had this guy next to you just wants to tell you the whole life story, and you didn't even ask. But you said one certain thing, or you mentioned one certain thing about a repossession. He mentioned something about a repossession on the car, and then it goes into how he lost his dog and his wife left him. It just goes into one big old thing. So you got to watch out for those. You got to watch out for turning into the bartender. So, but anyway, so you don't want to dive in too deep right there. This is just the initial consultation, and then the last one we ask them, well, if you do or don't have any established credit, have you recently applied for any credit, and how did that work out for you? Okay. Well, yeah, I've been trying to get a home loan. I've been trying.
That's a great question, Troy. When I was in the credit repair retail side of it, that's something we used to profile the customer as well. And that's one of the things, besides setting the goal. Well, why do you need credit repair? Ask them if they had a current job as a pre-qualifying question. It brings to your attention that that's a concern that you need to deal with. The customer may not know that he may not qualify for this, but you're gonna find out more information. But that is a definite important thing to ask the customer. What they have, what they need, and what they want. It's important to do that. My question is, would this process work over the phone as well as face-to-face, Troy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a kind of a battle that we have when scripting out something. You're like, what would this look like if this person was sitting in front of me, and what would it sound like if the person was just over the phone? Now, keep in mind, we do about 80% of our business over the phone, so we obviously lean more how it sounds versus how it would be face-to-face, but we made sure that it would be engaging at the same time if a customer was right in front of us. And yes, I mean, we have the exact same script that we have over the phone and exact same script if they were sitting in front of us. It is a little bit easier to deliver the want to help them in person than it is over the phone, but that's why some of these questions are posed, very soft questions without diving too far in. Example, you mentioned employment. Well, one of the ways that they can reveal employment or not is when we ask them, what has changed in your credit or financial situation recently to make you want to improve your credit now? And oftentimes you'll get, hey, well, I just got back on my feet. I got a new job. Well, okay, well, that's good. We know they got money, okay? So a lot of times you'll get that. So there's kind of those soft questions that we want to say if they were in person, we don't want to push them back. And, of course, on the phone, it's really tough to, you don't want to push them back on that. So that's what that question kind of goes into is qualifying. Oftentimes we do get that a lot. Hey, I just got a new promotion, or I'm trying to go for a new promotion, and I need to get my credit improved.
Yeah, and trying to understand the flow of this, ladies and gentlemen, with Troy, I'm trying to just for you guys to visualize, because this is tough to talk about when we're not face-to-face. The best way to do that is to be in front of the process and see how somebody executes this, either on the phone or face-to-face. But could that, and just so that our audience can really visualize this a little better, does this happen in 5 minutes? We've done the pre-qual, the pre-consultation. Does this happen in a two-step process, on a multiple call process? Is this done in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 20 minutes? What are the parameters around, or the logistics around the situation? Could you describe that as well?
Yeah, and typically, we won't go into the follow-up process. First of all, how to get them on the phone or get them in the office, but typically that initial consultation, the pre-qualifying, determine if we can help them, is anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. We like to keep it around 3 minutes. So, we've been talking 30 minutes, but, it's usually 3 to 5 minutes in the pre-qualification. It's after that 3 to 5 minutes, then we go into the credit evaluation. So the flow of that, it really is pretty quick. But at the same time, we have to pace it. Because I could tell you, just go off some past experience, because I've got a decade of experiences, so y'all could easily turn into bartenders if I started, but I'm not going to do it. If you go through that process too quick and give them the not yet, the not the no, the not yet, they don't really feel the need to come back to you at that point. Because you still have a potential, you can have a potential sale there, and we'll talk a little bit about it, even if professional services aren't something that we can help them with. You don't want to make them feel like, because in the past, I really just pre-qualified them from the money side, and and I had an entry point of $99 back then. I'm like, will you be prepared to start today? No, I can't go. Okay, good. Well, we don't want to pull up your report today, blah, blah, blah. And basically that was it. Hey, come back and see me in this date, or I'll call you back on this date. And that was pretty much it. That was kind of the pre-qualifying technique. What do you want, and can you pay? But now we realize that we had a lot of backlash from that, especially, and we haven't talked about our other 2 customers we service, but especially to your referral partners or affiliates to send you that business. If they send you a potential customer, and that potential customer goes back to them and says they wouldn't even help me out unless I had the money. Okay? Well, you don't want them telling that story. Again, you want to control the story. You don't want them running back to that affiliate saying that. Hey, this guy said y'all wouldn't help him out if he didn't have the money. Well, that's not exactly true. So that's why this kind of soft intake process is very important. That way they get a little bit of education. They get to learn a little bit more about their situation just by telling me. And then we determine if we can help them. So once we ask those 3 qualifying questions in that initial consultation, we basically wrap it up with, hey, it sounds like from what you've told me so far, the 3 questions that I asked you are very important. And let me tell you why those are very important. Those 3 questions impact 75% of what makes up your credit score. Okay? Each one of those questions, we break them down. We go, having established credit, making payments on time, and having inquiries. We go down, we break each one of those down, why they're important, and that they account for 75% of what makes up your credit score. So based on what you told me, sound like you would be a good candidate for our services. So the next step that we go through is a more in-depth process. It's a credit evaluation where we actually pull up all 3 scores on all 3 bureaus, and we determine if we can help you from that point. Now, that does take a little bit more time. Probably takes about an additional 15 to 20 minutes. Is that some time you would have to spend with me today? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, here we go. Now we're going to talk money. So now they said, hey, we'll spend more time with you. Now I'm going to find out if they're going to spend some more money with me. Well, upon completion of that credit evaluation, we're going to set up your online account, and after we get your account set up, it's going to be $199 to get you started and $99 a month. Does that fit your budget so you can start improving your credit today? Let me rephrase that again. Does that fit your budget so you can start improving your credit today? Okay? I didn't say, can you afford it? I didn't say, are you prepared to start today? Because some people have a different imagination of what prepared to start today is. They're prepared to start means, okay, I'll just sit here and let them pull on my report and see what we got. Does that fit your budget to start improving your credit today? Okay, so they're thinking about their budget, and they're also evaluating if they want to start improving their credit today or they want to postpone that. Okay? Well, at this point, obviously, we're going to get a no or yes. But at this point, we've only spent 3 to 5 minutes with these people. So if we get a no, well, we definitely understand finances can be an issue. When is it that you want to start improving your credit today? Notice I didn't ask them, when do you think you're going to have the money? Okay? When do you want to start improving your credit? Here's where the value of having referral partners or people who send you leads, here's where the value comes. When do you think you're going to start improving your credit? Because I need to let Joe Smith over at ABC Mortgage know that you're not prepared to start the home buying process yet, and that you want to postpone it till which date was that? Now we just tied all that in from the very.
Hold on. Let's stop there for a minute. That's a, ladies and gentlemen, write that down. He's just bridged the customer over, and he's placed the burden on the customer. Okay, he's placing pain on that customer. Remember we said earlier that people only understand what they get. He just turned that customer around. He did a 180 on that customer, laid that responsibility back on him, and said, "Well, that's okay. Just tell me when you're ready. And by the way, we need to let Joe know this is going on because because he's involved in the purchase of your home or your loan or your car." That is a powerful, powerful mover. How many customers would you say at that point turn around and say, "Well, no, let's get started today, Troy"?
Oh, I can tell you that number's probably over 60 to 70%. You're not going to lose them there. You're only going to maybe lose 30% at that time because they just truly don't have the money. And let me dig a little bit deeper on that and back up. If you just noticed it, I just tied in the first questions that I asked them is what their ultimate goal was. And I just tied in their ultimate goal into their decision to start improving their credit today.
Absolutely.
What makes that powerful? What makes that powerful for us from a sales? Now, keep in mind, I'm not doing a hard sell because, ladies and gentlemen, a hard sell doesn't work in credit repair because you're going to have a high cancellation rate. You can't hard sell people. But you can craft a message where they're going to receive it and believe that this is something they need to do right away. Because that's what they told me they needed to do up front. They said their ultimate goal was to buy this house in 6 to 8 months, and if they're not ready to improve their credit today, well, they just told me that they're not ready to buy this house, so I need to let the affiliate know who referred them over because now they're messing with his food on his table. So all that just kind of evolved in a very soft process. But I can tell you that that technique would not be powerful unless I had a good relationship with my secondary customer, which is my affiliates, to know that they send over good leads to me. Because these are people that really want to buy their house, but they just have some credit issues, and we're going to help them out with that. So here we are at the crossroads of, are they going to move forward with professional services? And I can tell you right now, if they say yes, we have 99% capture after yes, right here. 99% capture. People just don't balk after that point. There's not a lot of people who go into the credit evaluation step and then at the end of that say, you know what, I need to talk to so-and-so about this and so-and-so. It's about 99% capture in that. So you got to maybe to 20 to 30% when you get to that point drop off to reach them back. But at that point, when you flip the switch and go to credit evaluation, it's about 99% capture right there. So let me just kind of give you a scenario if they say no. And we can talk about these other products, but whatever product you have, every good sales or intake process has a down sell product. So if your down sell is an appointment and you sell an appointment, that's great. But if your down sell is another product in the meantime, that's great too. So you make a little bit of money. In our case, we have a downsell product. If finances are an issue, we have a downsell product, which is a do-it-yourself software. We white label the do-it-yourself software, and we sell that as a downsell product for $99. The one-time fee, there's no monthly obligation. It helps you manage the process, helps you get through this process, helps you get to the goal that you talked about. And oh, by the way, if you take advantage of this service, you still have our expertise and advice. Our phone number is at the top right corner. You can call us anytime. If it does get a little overwhelming or frustrating, we'll just give you a $50 credit to come see us for professional services. That's how we do a downsell product. Okay?
So hold on. Go ahead, Troy. I need you to go back and slowly go through that again, because what you did there was you downsold, but you gave them an incentive to convert in the future.
I did. I downsold them something that was more affordable, that fits their budget, which I don't know what their budget was, but it definitely wasn't $199 to get started. So let me go ahead and reduce that commitment in half to $99, and we are still going to capture a sale for $99. We let them know that there's no monthly commitment, so it's $99 and done. But on top of that, and here's the first incentive to convert later on, you're always going to have our expertise, our advice, and phone number, because the license on this product does not expire. Okay, that's number one. That's a number one future conversion, because they're going to be calling us for advice if they have any questions. Okay, and we're always going to have the opportunity to convert them to professional services. The second is the software is actually good for up to 3 users. So I got 2 additional referrals. So not only would they use it for themselves, they may use it for their husband, and they use it for their daughter, or their grandmother that lives with them, whatever. They can use it up to 3 people. So I've instilled potential referrals and potential conversions into that one downsell product. And then the last future conversion incentive I did was offer them a $50 credit towards our professional services if they should choose us at a later date, and that never expires. So I didn't make the big sell, but I had a downsell. But I mean, not saying that they all do it, but a lot of them do, because it is a process. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, how many of those do you think actually use the software?
I would say it had less than 10%.
Absolutely, less than 5%.
Wow.
In fact, I did a snapshot of 6 months, and we had, I don't know, it was 127 product codes given out. Out of those 127, 60 of those weren't even downloaded. So they didn't even download the software. They bought it and didn't even download it. Okay? So like half of them didn't even download it. And so you have another, so then out of that 127, 30 of those came back to us for professional services. That's 30 people that I wouldn't have got if I didn't sell them that, honestly, because after our follow-up process, you know, they just kind of go into a drip campaign. But, I mean, that's 30 people that I just maximized.
Yeah, Troy, just to go on, you know, Troy mentioned something about a drip campaign, and we had a webinar on how to establish a good continuity campaign. But, you know, that's just, you know, the purpose of that is to keep the customer engaged. But if you can give him something of value and an interest to convert and a way to turn around and keep them captive, it's a good idea. So this is an aha moment, ladies and gentlemen. There's software out there right now that you can purchase and license and white label it for your company, and you can go ahead and make it an offer if you wanted to use this method. Now there's a couple of them out there, and we're not marketing any of those companies, but this is what they do. But they basically keep that customer engaged or point out the futility of not being able to do it themselves because they just don't have the time.
Absolutely. I know there's probably some people out there going, well, why are you selling them a software, and then that take away from your professional services? Well, I think what Josh just said and the statistics I gave you, the resounding message is no. What that does do is continue to deliver the message that you are truly there to help them. Hey, understand our professional services are a bit outside your budget, but we do have an alternative for you. Okay? Now, the question everybody is asking now too is, at what point did you tell them no? Well, we get a lot of our no's in the very beginning when they have. These are some disqualifying factors that we say no to, and you'll probably want to write these down, and you'll probably already utilize them because some of them just make common sense. Number one, if they don't have an email, don't take them on as a client. You're probably saying, really? An email? Yes.
No email, no
why
client.
that is, no email, no client. Exactly. What is that doing? Let me just tell you why I mentioned that point first. Because Josh just alluded to a drip campaign. Okay? Well, we not only have drip campaigns for our existing customers, but we have drip campaigns for, we not only have drip campaigns for people who don't sign up with our services, but we also have drip campaigns for our existing customers. You know, facts, tips, other products that we will put in front of them. It's part of the experience. Part of our experience is our communication. The two biggest issues you have when it comes to the success or failure of a successful business, period, never mind credit repair industry, is communication and expectations. You have to be, you can control both of those. You can control communication and you can control expectation. If someone doesn't have an email, they just took a way for you to communicate, a very valuable way to communicate. Okay? The next one is no bank account. Yeah, can I come pay you in cash? No. Can't do that. Why? Because now they're controlling the story. They're controlling the experience. I got everything on hold waiting for someone to come by and drop off $99 so we can continue their services. Okay? No bank account, no client. Because they're going to control the story. And quite frankly, where we're located, we have a lot of those people that don't have bank accounts. But you know what? We don't say no. It's just a not yet. Hey, look, we've got a great place you can go over there for $1. You can open up a checking account. You know? We don't tell them no. It's just a not yet. Hey, look, we got to do a couple things that we require. You know email, okay, great. You can set you one up. Now, in the past, we used to just set them one up for them. Well, that kind of backfired because, you know, you can go in and establish a Gmail account or Yahoo account for anybody. That kind of backfired because if they didn't have an email up to that point, what makes you think they're going to check the one we just created for them? Not. They're not going to go in and check it because they didn't create it. They have no skin in the game. Okay? So if they take away your ability to communicate with them, they take away your ability to charge them timely so they can continue the process, then the ultimate one is you now cannot deliver or fulfill their expectations. If you can't fulfill their expectations with your process, don't take them as a client. And you're probably saying, what expectations? Well, hey, if they want to get into a house in 45 days. Well, I'm sorry, I wish I could guarantee that, but I can't. I would love to help you out, but I just don't think we'll be able to deliver that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, there are credit repair companies out there that will take them as clients. There will. There is a credit repair company for them. It's just not us, and it's just not you. Okay? Josh said it earlier in the broadcast that you have the fate of your business in your hands, and the fact that you have to determine those customers, and because you've got a frustration, you've got something you can't measure with dollars. If you have clients in there that you can't communicate with, you have clients in there you can't collect on money, you not only are causing a frustration for the customer, but you're causing a frustration for your third customer who we haven't talked about, and that's your internal customer, your staff. So now they can't do their job. Josh and their team can't do their job. They have just disrupted the whole experience that you worked so hard to build. You worked so hard to build this experience, And these customers that you took in never qualified for it. They have to qualify for your experience that you built, the process that you built that has up to this point given everybody 5-star reviews, have satisfied customers everywhere, but yet you're going to give them the right to come in and make an exception because, yeah, you know what, you seem like a nice enough guy. Email's not that important, bank account's not that important, and you know what, we do really get results usually in 60 to 90 days, so if I can sell them on 60 days, then we could probably bring them in. We could probably do that. Well, you just sold everything that you worked up for. You devalued your whole process, and you devalued your whole business, just like that.
Oh,
and
you probably made it very difficult for that internal customer, your staff, to fulfill on any of those promises, and they're the people that are going to, the customer service are going to be the ones having to deal with a disgruntled customer in the future because he was just not ready to buy.
Right. That goes to the high-pressure sales. That's why you don't do high-pressure sales. You don't put junk in your system. You put junk in, you get junk out. I can tell you right now, those people who don't have bank accounts and no emails, you're going to end up refunding their money anyway. So you might as well not take it to begin with. Okay? You're going to be refunding their money anyway. So I want to kind of go into a little bit. So we covered the intake process. We go into credit evaluation, and boom, we actually start. The credit evaluation is just a credit analysis. We go over how the 5 factors apply to their specific credit report, and there are some disqualifying factors in there. If that person did say they were late and turns out that they're 90 days late and they're $1,000 past due, I can't help you. It's not a no, it's a not yet. What you'll want to do is get these caught up. Well, I just let that go back. Ladies and gentlemen, if people are telling you these, they're telling you these things. They're trying to get you to bend and help them out with situations you have no control over. If someone just let their car repo and it shows that they're 6 months past due, you're not going to be able to help that person out. You might want to say to yourself, well, he's got other accounts and other collections that we can help him with while his car is going through repossession. I promise you right now, you could get 100% of everything else corrected on that credit report, and you obviously won't be able to do anything with the repossession, and he's not going to be a satisfied customer, especially when he's trying to buy another car. He's not going to be satisfied.
So not only do I have no email, no client, no bank account, okay, understand whether we can't if we're inhibited or prohibited from delivering on their expectations, if they're impeding that, but also if they have past due accounts. Is a pre-qualifier just a 90-day late, or is that just an example, or do you have a specific parameter? Would you take somebody with a 30-day late payment or a 60-day late payment?
Yeah, we do have, I don't say exceptions, but we have parameters, and they're not exceptions. If someone is 30 days late or even 90 days late, we look at the actual past due amount and see if it's within reason for them to get it caught up in a timely manner. You know, if someone's got a small credit card and they just happened to miss last month and it says they're past due $30, well, that's very manageable. You know, even a couple $100 bucks. You know, if they've got a couple things they faltered on, now they're educated as, you know, up until coming to us, they may not have been educated as to how important it is to keep those on time, those small little credit cards. So we have some people that, you know, 50, 80, $100 or whatever they're behind, or they're maybe behind a partial car payment. I've seen that before. You know, they got a $400 car payment and they're behind $201. Well, hey, you want to get that caught up, okay? So there is parameters where we'll still take them, but when we know that there's stuff realistically that we can't control, that we know over the next 6 months, because that's about an average life expectancy, we'll tell you how we keep them in there that long. Over the next 6 months, we know a couple things are going to happen. Number one, their credit situation is probably going to get worse. So they're going to, every month they're going to keep, well, why am I paying these people to improve my situation when it keeps getting worse? Well, if you look, we help you improve all these other things, and you establish credit like we asked, but that repossession we're talking about, it's killing you. It's killing you. And so, you know, you're going to have to, I told him, I said, you're going to have to do one or two things. You're going to have to accept your situation the way it is, and from this point forward, begin to take the necessary steps to strengthen your credit profile. utilize your credit properly, establish some new credit, and if the car is what you need, you may need to go to a buy here, pay here place where you buy the car and you actually pay there. You know, if transportation is really what you would need, credit repair is not going to get you into the transportation. If you wanted to get a car, they're not going to let you buy one because you got a previous repossession. Okay? But in the meantime, here's some steps you'll want to take. Okay? And so you have to let them, again, it's not a no, it's a not yet. Hey, come see me in 6 months. Maybe you'll work out something with this collection company in repossession. You know, maybe you'll find a company out there that will take it off your hands or whatever. You want to give them some options, but you know those things are hard to overcome when it happens. You repossession on a car, they take forever. Even a foreclosure on the house, they just float in limbo out there forever. So I know the shelf life, the lifetime value of a customer is about 6 months. So if I know I realistically not going to be able to do anything or make a dent, I'm not taking them. I'm just not going to take them. Because the high likelihood, I've just basically put a very high potential of a cancellation into my process. But I'm going to give them tools, and I'm going to give them resources, and I would hope by that time that they're educated. They're educated on what their situation is and what they will need to do to help themselves out, and what we could possibly do later on to help them once they do those other steps. It's not a no.
Troy?
Yep.
Would any of these customers that just wouldn't qualify, would you downsell them to one of your either to one of your products, like your software product, or suggest that any other credit repair company that wouldn't have their own custom product to downsell, maybe downgrade them into a free credit repair program, or what would you do with a client like that to keep them in the pipeline and continue to keep them engaged?
Absolutely. To answer your question, the do-it-yourself software was the catch-all for everybody, because in the way that I downsell that to say, hey, look, you know, our professional services are probably not the best investment for you, the best option for you. We can't, in good faith, take $199 from you and then $99 per month because we don't feel we're going to be able to deliver what you need. However, the other accounts, again, you know, this is something you would probably sell yourself to get them into your service, but you can sell them now on the downsell product and go, well, these other accounts, in the meantime, while the repossession is taking its course, or the foreclosure is taking its course, its natural course on your credit, but here's a do-it-yourself software. It's just a one-time deal. It'll help you manage the process with those other accounts, and we'll still be here to help you and give you advice. You still are there to help. You've always put yourself in a position to help. You've controlled and crafted that message the whole 3 to 5 minutes, and now we've gone through the credit evaluation. We've been with them at least a half an hour. They know we're there to help, and I'm honestly saying, hey, look, sir, I wouldn't feel right taking your money today because you know, this is just too fresh, and it's, you know, it's not going to be your best option right now. Here's what you'll want to do. We give them the steps that they can do to help build their credit, improve their credit, if they got existing credit, whatever it is, how to utilize it, how to build it, and go, here's a product that will help you out. And if they still say, you know what, I don't have a use for that software, don't worry. Just for coming out to see us today, just for coming out and see us and talking to me today, everybody gets a free do-it-yourself kit. Everybody gets a free do-it-yourself kit. It's in PDF format. It's got about 15 letter templates out there, some tips and secrets and things of that nature. I'm going to email that to you. Would that be okay? Oh, certainly. Great. No problem. So as a last resort, that is it right there. That's the do-it-yourself kit. We're still giving them something. I always want to give them something for engaging with us and talking to us that day. Yeah, granted, it's unfortunate we spent 30 minutes and we realized that when he said he was past due, it was a repossession he just let go last week. You know, it happens. But I still have an opportunity to sell him on something, and I'm still going to be there in front of him because now I'm going to put him into that drip campaign we talked about. I'm going to email him that ebook, tell him it was a great talking with him. If you had any questions, I'm always still here to answer those. Always position yourself as someone who's there to help, because things are going to reciprocate from that, and that's the fact that I always take this picture in mind, and I want everybody to listen to this real quick. If I was, you know, we walk past somebody and we always catch the end of a conversation on a phone or whatever. It's not like we're eavesdropping, but we just catch the end of a conversation. If my wife is talking to someone, one of my kids or something, or one of my business partners talking, I was like, you know, I was like, man, that sounded like a good conversation. Who was that? And the next statement is what you have been working so hard to craft. And that statement should be, hey, I was just on the phone with Improve My Credit USA. They can't help me out right now, but they gave me this cool tool. They gave me this cool do-it-yourself kit, so I'm going to start improving my credit without them right now and contact them at a later date. That's what you want them to say when they get off the phone. You don't want them to run back and say, hey, they wouldn't help me. You told me these guys could help me out, they wouldn't help me. Because now they're controlling the story. But you actually, it's all about the story. You can't let them control the story. And if you have control over it all. Some people refuse to do it because it's not the most, just starting out. And I know, I just had a guy fly out, Scott from Vegas. I think he's on the call. Hello, Scott. He flew out the other day. He hasn't taken in one customer yet. And he's just starting out. And it's tough to say no. It's tough to say no, not yet, because he didn't make a penny yet. He wanted to make that sale, And it's tough to do that. But if you want to build a process and you want to build a good foundation and build a good customer base that is going to be profitable for you more than just their ability to pay you, because those customers are going to be your marketing team now. You're just recruiting salespeople. You're just recruiting marketing professionals. Because that statement that they said when they got off the phone was a powerful statement. Oh, really? What did they give you? Boom. Well, let's go check my email. Oh, that's cool. Wow, they just showed you how to do it? Yeah, absolutely. It's right there. Do-it-yourself kit. How much do they charge you for it? None. It's free. These are messages that you craft that you want them to tell you want them, if they're going to tell the story, and they are, you want it to be your story. So I'm gonna get off the primary customer and just, I know we've already been on here an hour, and I knew this was going to happen. We're going to dig into it. We're probably going to need to get another call one day.
We're getting close to the hour, but would you mind coming on another call and us continuing this session? I mean, I think we've got a lot more to say. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. To everyone who's on the call, there's just to give you a kind of an umbrella vision, there are 3 customers every CRO has. And we just mainly talked about servicing what we call the primary customer. But there is an intake process for a secondary customer, and there's an intake process for an internal customer. Your secondary being an affiliate and a referral partner, and your internal being your staff. All 3 of those customers need to have the same experience, and they need to tell the same story that you crafted. And so that's kind of where we lead in, and I definitely think that there's still a lot of meat left on the table for me to deliver to you guys today. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get it all out in an hour, because we didn't even talk about
Troy,
maintenance. We didn't even talk about maintenance or billing process.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it, my friend. Our audience are faithful. It's a faithful audience. I mean, we've got them on there. They're asking some questions out there, and one of Anselmo Moreno was asking if you would repeat the scripting that you used around the customer when the customer basically turned down getting started right now on the process, where you basically said, when will you be ready to start so I can inform your loan officer? Could you repeat that verbiage and repeat it slowly so that everyone can hear that? Because I think they're trying to write that down. A lot of people like that type of turnaround.
Absolutely, absolutely. So after you deliver the price, you let them know upon completion of credit evaluation, we're going to create and set up your online account. Once that is done, it'll be $199 to get you set up, and then $99 per month. And then you simply ask them, does that fit your budget in order to start improving your credit today?
And if they say no?
They say no, and if they say no, say, I understand that finances can be an issue. So when do you think you will be ready to start improving your credit situation? And they'll give you a date. Notice I didn't say when will you have the money. When will you be ready to start improving your credit situation? Then they're going to give you a date. Then I'll say, great, because I need to communicate that back to Joe Smith at ABC Mortgage, so he will know that you're not ready to continue with the loan process or the home buying process, however they came to you, because we get them from brokers and we get them from realtors.
I got to tell you, Troy, that's brilliant. I got to, everybody out there, that's just brilliant. That's so much pressure. Can you imagine yourself as a credit repair customer telling, and you've just been referred by a loan officer that probably has some money in his hands that belongs to you, could be, and you're telling him, you're going to basically tell him that you don't want to start this credit repair process? I mean, I bet you that he's going to turn around right there and say, no, that's okay. You know what? I'll go ahead and start today.
That's the classic response. Oh, no, because it's a classic response because they don't want to say, oh no, man, I really like Tracy or I really like Joe. I don't want them to be disappointed. I'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah. You know, Troy, I've got another question. I've got another question from Bruno Scopin. He's asking this question about how do you where do you bring on your customers enough to turn 200 down? Before you answer that, let me just say to everyone out there, they probably turn down more customers or just about as many customers as they take on. So ladies and gentlemen, that's sticking to your non-negotiables. And that's important. They streamline their process, so everything that they make from their intake, from their customers and their great intake process, that is meat and potatoes. They don't have customers calling them. Customers understand the process. They are a proactive credit repair company. 100% of their customers, which you didn't mention as well, is as one of the non-negotiables, is that if you can't start unless you have a credit monitoring service. They do not work with results. Okay, this is a non-negotiable as well when starting the credit repair part of it. But Bruno wants to know, where do you get those customers? Could you briefly touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We get those potentials, those opportunities from our secondary customer, which is our affiliates and our referral partners that send us those turndowns. And obviously all those are typically in the mortgage space. We really have a large presence in the Houston area. There's typically anywhere from 600 to 800 leads that come in from those channels that we have relationships with. And then we organically, through websites and everything like that, probably get anywhere from another 150 to 200. So you can bet that my guys are on the phone a lot. But here's the difference in getting those from those secondary customers. You have to choose which one of those you're going to do business with as well. And I don't want to get into that because that's a whole nother hour. But you have to choose who you're going to take business from, because they have expectations of your services as well. And if you can't control those and deliver those, then their leads are nothing to you. They are trouble. Don't take them. Okay? Yeah, so the intake process really starts with them. And when I go out and consult other businesses, that's where I start talking. I don't start with the sales and intake process. I start with the affiliates and the secondary customer and how you need to intake those people, because you don't want to receive bad business from them, bad customers from them, those leads. Because once you do get those customers in the system, now it's the secondary customer, not the primary customer, that have unrealistic expectations. I want Johnny's loan to close in 60 days. Well, Johnny's apparently not in that big a hurry. He understood our process. Now it's you who doesn't understand our process. So let me go ahead and retrain you on our process and what your expectations should be, because if you're not okay with that, well, then there is a credit repair company out there that will be more than happy to take your business.
Yeah.
Because our process works this way. And I love the way Joshua puts it, the non-negotiables. We have lots of non-negotiables. And the reason why you have non-negotiables is because you should not devalue your service. Do not devalue your service in the process that you built, because you already know, if you're 1 day, 1 month, or 10 years into it, you already know what that will produce. And if you say no to the good, it will consistently produce that result. If it doesn't produce, that means you're probably putting bad in and you're getting bad out. So if you put the good in, you're always going to get good out. And so to answer Bruno's question, it's mostly affiliate referrals. There are some things that I would love to share with you guys that we just implemented to help boost that up to those numbers you talked about. I'd love to share that with you guys. Again, I'm an open book, but I know everybody's time is precious. And there's a way to create those relationships. Just like you create those, you increase the shelf life of your primary customer, you can increase the shelf life of your secondary customer exponentially, way past any customer they can send you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there's a remember that we have Identity IQ, which is if you go to myiqreport.com, you can basically go ahead and have your customers subscribe at myiqreport.com to a great credit monitoring service. And if you're a Score customer, we pull the report for you at no extra charge and just help you with that extra work. It's about a 3 to 4 minute process. Remember that we've got our FDCPA department, and remember when you have customers that you're shooting over from FDCPA, remember to tell them that they're going to receive calls from one of the lawyers in their area, or from a 714 number. So it's important because they're normally being hounded by collection agencies, and they might not pick up because of that. So tell them that they're going to receive in the next couple of minutes a 714 area code type number, and it's going to be to discuss their case. Okay, for all of you not using the FDCPA department, service, remember it's free. It's free. We've got one of our Jim Drossett from Illinois. He's actually a CRO, but he's not a Score customer yet. He actually went through the process on one of his collection accounts that he was being harassed on. And one of these accounts, he went ahead and he said, I thought it was too good to be true, but you made a collection company stop calling me, made them pay me $500 for harassing me, and got the negative item removed from my report. Thanks to the team at Score. Also, the lawyer signed my case the same day. So, remember, this is completely free. Just go to our website. For all you out there, go to www.scoreinc.com and click on the FDCPA tab. Everything's on there for you to get started, fill out the paperwork, and start sending us customers. It costs you $0. We train you for free. Cost your customers $0. Troy was mentioning the downsell. This is a service that you can downsell your customer if he decides not to buy to. And you can still keep him engaged with something that says your company on it. Okay, you can. We're basically all a huge referral source for this network of FDCPA experts across the 50 states. Okay, so let's leverage this. $500 isn't bad for a customer, and getting it off the credit report is even better. Just imagine if you did that, Troy, with a customer that didn't buy your credit repair. He's $500 closer to buying your credit repair today.
No doubt about that.
So, yeah, so free is always good. I've got one more question for you, and this is a very common question. Kelly Wells out of our Credit Repair Washington, she's a Score customer. She's asking, do you have any difficulties with lenders that are having problems with saying that they are being scrutinized because they're working with credit repair companies? When recruiting affiliate referral sources, have you had that objection as of late or within the last 6 to 12 months been challenged on that when recruiting outside referral sources?
I will tell you that it does come up more often in the past 12 months due to the changing in the banking industry. A lot of, simply because we are tied into the mortgage space, it's a very transit business. So someone that we may have had a relationship with may have moved to a different lender who has different criteria and doesn't want to be associated or work with credit repair companies, and that's okay. They have their non-negotiables, and we're not there to negotiate that. But it does happen. So with that being said, that secondary or affiliate or lender would not be a good customer, a good secondary customer for you, unfortunately, because they have non-negotiables. And if they do the following, and we have fell a victim to that, if they say, hey, you know what, I know that I know we're not supposed to do this, but I'll tell you what, I will send you these people via my personal email. Well, you don't want that business. You got to say no to, hey, look, if your company's policy is not to refer your turndowns to credit repair companies, then, hey, you know what, I appreciate you listening to me today. If the policy changes, please keep my information, and if you move different companies and their policy changes, please look me up. Do you mind if I shoot you an email a little bit about our process? Sure, no problem. But it does come up, but not to the point where it's impacted us. You obviously stay away the big banks, the Bank of Americas, the Chases, they're all sticky about that, and the smaller lenders are actually disappearing. So, the credit repair space is actually growing, but the mortgage industry space is actually shrinking. So where we usually got the bulk of our business, well, it's getting harder and harder to do that, especially as CROs grow out there and they target those spaces. It becomes a little bit tighter.
Okay, great. Well, we pretty much answered your question. Sorry, everyone, that we couldn't finish our presentation, but I hope I get a confirmation from you, Troy. Maybe next week or the following week, we can go ahead and continue and then discuss how to maintain that customer inside the pipeline, because we talked about bringing them on, talking about great pre-qualifiers and to really decide who to take on, and really understanding who our customers are. And I'm just rephrasing here, understanding that we have really 3 customers that we want to cater to, which is our internal customer, which is our employees, our secondary customers, and our primary customers. Our secondary customers are our affiliate referral sources, and our primary customers are the consumers that walk in through the door or call us every day on the phone or opt into our website. Okay, everybody's got to talk about the same story. We've all got to concentrate on that. Keep that top of mind. That process will drive your business. I want to thank you, Troy. I think this was a great hour. We kind of stayed a little extra time, everyone. We've kind of been doing that as of late, but I think we've got a lot of great content. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call. I hope that within maybe next week or the following week, we can have Troy on there to understand how to keep that customer on there because of the great story, and how to maximize your billing process so that your failure rates decrease and you can improve your collection rate. And this is really important stuff, which kind of matches and marries what we talked about with getting paid about 6 weeks ago. We went through a 2-part webinar series around that. So this is great stuff. Thank you for being on this week. Joel is under the weather, so he couldn't be with us, and he thanks you as well. Troy, do you want to go ahead and say goodbye to everyone on the call?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and I can tell you, I looked, and most everybody, 90%, stayed on the call, so I'm glad that just tells me y'all got some valuable information. I hope to share more. I look forward to another call, and yes, this is a verbal commitment that I'll be more than happy to join another one because I like to finish what I start. And I always want to lend my hand to help. If you had any further questions that didn't get answered, Josh, you can just forward them to me. I'll be more than happy to answer them for anybody that was on the call today. And we're just always here to help, truly. I mean, that's our message. I would be remiss if I didn't leave without letting you know what our mission is. And our mission is to truly find what works, share what works, and inspire people to take action. And I hope that at least accomplished a few of those today by sharing the processes with you, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you very much.
Well, you're quite welcome, Troy, and it's an honor to have you on this call. Everyone out there, pay attention to what Troy's got something to say, and you might not agree with everything. I hope you do. They are a company that's proven themselves over time in the industry, and they are committed to driving this industry as well as making their business grow. So once again, thank you, Troy, for being on our call, and thank you, everyone, and have a great week and an even better weekend. Bye-bye, all.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.